Hello guys, today I'm gonna show you how I farmed 12 dimes over the weekend at the league start. Now as you can see I have 12 div, a couple of tempering ore, tailor ore, and a lot more currency that I haven't switched to chaos or divine yet. And let's dive into the strategy. I made a text-based version of the strategy if you prefer this kind of method. Now first thing first, you shouldn't finish the campaign because it gives you a res debuff and we can do this strat without killing Kitava. What you will do is you will go to the rock harbor at level 60 or right before you kill Kitava. You need one rocks marker to go to the rock harbor. If you're unlucky and didn't drop between these acts, you can just buy from Faustus. Now when you come to the rock harbor, you go up the stairs, go right into the Volcano, and he will be selling some contracts for you. This contracts level will be depending on your character level, and it will reset every time you level up. I will give regex to you depending on what option you choose. I will talk about that later. You have two options, and after you put regex, you just buy the contracts that are shining. Now most of these contracts will sell with Orb of Chance. You will probably have some Orb of Chance lying around, but if you don't have an Orb of Chance, you can transform your Orb of Physics into Orb of Chance from one of the NPCs. You just need to do this at the starts. After you run some contracts, you will no problem with sustaining your Orb of Chances. Now you wanna check the Volcano every time you level up, and you wanna buy all of the contracts that are shining from regex. And the contracts we are buying are Lockpick, Agility, Counter Thaumaturgy, and Demolition. Now as you can see, Counter Thaumaturgy, Lockpicking, and Agility, they all have currency chests, and some of them have jewelry chests. And Demolition has generic chest, which in my experience gives way more chaos than normal currency chests. So try to focus on those question mark chests. Another reason we are choosing those contracts are jewelry chests. And this is extra helpful while you are doing chaos recipes. Because when you do chaos recipes, most of the time you will lack either rings, amulets, or belts. You can use a third party tool like chaos recipe enhancer. It's up to you. You are probably gonna level up every 2 to 3 contracts. So check the Volcano shop every time you level up. Now let's talk about the options you have. If you wanna just get some currency like 100 or 200 chaos, use this regex and just spam contracts until you are like level 70ish, or if you think you have enough currency to bless some maps. This is pretty basic. But if you wanna stick with heist and wanna change the ZDPS build, use this regex. The reason we are changing this regex is because of the perception and deception contracts. Now we wanna run those contracts because of Gianna. When you finish a contract with Gianna, it will give you her reveal, and with her, as you can see, she has 40% discount. These discounts you will farm early will help a lot when you switch to the ZTPS build for blueprints. And let's talk about blueprints a bit more. To do blueprints, you don't necessarily need a ZTPS build. All you need is defense and speed preferably, but if you don't have that much speed, these are not that much profitable. Of course they are, but they took a lot of time. But if you do them with a ZDPS build like 400, 500 MS builds, I think they are one of the top tier strategies, especially since other stats are nerfed this league. Now let's talk about the build that I used to run heist. I'm using Poison of Concoction of Bouncing with 4 link in the Embalmer gloves. This is like 1C or so, you can buy this easily. I'm using Mark of Submission with Despair on hit. This is like 1C as well. I'm using this chest from somewhere I dropped. I don't remember exactly where I dropped it, but it's pretty cheap. But I recommend you buying a 6 link, especially 6 links. Prices are going down and down since people are printing them from 3. And this is the helmet that I'm using. This is the shield. This is the amulet. This is the ring. And this is the boot and belt. As you can see, most of the items that I'm using is not even more than 5 chaos. And this is the tree I'm using. With this cheap build, you can easily run level 82, 83 contracts. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of this strategy. Now first pro is it smoothens the gap between campaign and early maps. Like when you finish campaign, you will most likely not be res capped, you will have low damage. But if you go into heist, just even do one contract and get like 5 chaos. You can buy 5 link from it, you can buy your uniques from it, so it's good right after campaign and before maps. If you're a speedrunner and if you do it early on the league, oh, a flask salt. Anyway, if you do it early on the league and if you're a speedrunner, this is the best method to farm chaos at that time. Like I don't think anyone comes close to that at that power. Another good pros of this is if your build needs some core uniques like Holy Relic, you may wanna consider this strategy. And another pro is you can do it with almost any build. You just go in, you click the chests and go out. You don't need damage, you don't need speed, you don't need even defense. if you dodge everything. Now let's talk about the cons. First and biggest cons for me is loading screens. Like, it's so fucking annoying. Every time you go out of the contract, you have to wait for Rogue Harbor. Please, GGG, please change this shit. And another cons getting worse because of the first cons. You have to go back to hideout every time you wanna sell something, since Faust is not in Rogue Harbor. And every time you wanna go to hideout, you need to wait for that loading screen again. So it's just, it gets annoying more and more quickly. And the third con is it gets stale very quickly. This could be me issue, I don't know. If you like heisting, you can do it more. But it got stale for me. Like, originally I was planning to switching to a ZDPS build and farming some more blueprints, but I couldn't do it anymore. And the last con is it becomes worse and worse as the league goes. Since counter types gets less and less value as the league goes, this strat becomes less and less profitable. But if you focus on blueprints and switching to a ZDPS build, this is, I think, one of the best strats of the league so far, because of the other stats being nerfed so much. I hope you enjoyed the video. I couldn't record VODs because of the issue with my PC, but with this strat you can easily get a head start.
You've had a sale, Exile.
Like, starting with 10 divines into the maps is pretty good. So next I'm gonna run some map strats, so if you wanna tune, just subscribe and see you in the next video.